Okay, we're going to continue with this thing. It's been actually a while since I did this last, which is a bit sad. But we'll try it. Now, I don't know if we're going to get it finished tonight. But anyway, just quickly going through what it was. We're trying to do the Sega Master System Megadrive controller tester without using an Arduino and having like LEDs lined up somewhere. I've just realized I already do. I have some green LEDs. So when we get to that phase, we can just dump those in. And I had a box of resistors around somewhere. I feel like I don't have all the parts that I'm going to need. So there's not that much. It's all just wires. I've got lots of wires. But anyway, these are 74HC574s, which I'm going to use 2 of. And they're going to be like latched in like this. So the idea is, where did I put my little diagram? Because I kind of need that one. Sorry, I've got a whole bunch of pieces of paper. These are the pins that are on the controller output. Just going through them, 4 of them, basically you switch them around with the select, whether it's high or low. I really can't be bothered explaining everything again and again and again for this one, so go back to the previous videos and just check it out. But I thought I would go through, so I said basically beforehand, I'm going to use a 4017 to cycle through 4 different states, and the state 1 is select is 0, but what I mean is in both these states select is low, and in both these states select is high, but this state here the latch pin value is low, and then it goes up to high here, so there's a positive edge trigger type thingy between these 2 steps here. So this is the thing that does the actual latching, is going between steps 3 and 4 and steps 1 and 2. That actually latches on the values that are going to be stored on the outputs of these 2 ICs. So the select basically sets the inputs to what's going into these things, and then the move between the 2 states is the thing that latches them together. So hopefully, I drew this picture, I don't know if it's actually going to work, but it looked a lot messier and less easy to understand than I was hoping. But basically we have the 4017 here. These are the outputs from the 4017, so output 1, output 2, output 3, output 4. This is the clock coming from the 555 timer and going in and clocking the 4017. So it's going to be clocking on the positive edge. So when we clock this, we go into state 1. I think I've drawn it like this. So we just pretend that we were in state 4 and we've come into state 1. So when this is high, and we've got down here, we've got select. So when either of these are high, then select will be low. And when either of these ones are high, that one is high. So you can kind of see so this is like over time, and this is if it's high or it's low, so it's going up and down. So here you can see that it goes high and then it goes low for quite a while, and then comes back high again and goes low and then high, and this is 1 step out as you go along. That's 1 step out as you go along, and that's 1 step out. So those are those things there. But basically the select thing is just kind of going as a sort of clock divided version. So you could have just done this millions of different ways. A clock divided version of the input clock, which is just coming off here. So every 2 of these clocks it changes. So that one's high, that's low, blah blah blah. And then the latching is just in between these things here. So we've got this latch phase here, and they're only like 1 time step long, because they're basically the inputs here. So latch 1 is basically this, but what's happening here, I didn't really draw it in, did I? Which is the important part. That when this little going from low to high occurs, we're going to latch what's being presented to the 4047, the 574 chips, depending on whether a select is low or high. So I think that, so at this point here, when we latch 1, select is low and has been low for a while. And when we latch the number 2, select is high and has been for some time. So it's had ample time to basically stabilize the inputs. Same here. So we don't have this thing where we're trying to latch at the same time that we're setting select to high or whatever, so that we're sort of relying on one thing being slower than the other. So hopefully that makes sense. So what we did last time is I wired up part of the 74HC574. I'm just going to call them 574s, and that's the pinouts of that. So I'm just going to add in, the next step would be to add in 4 more wires, which are actually going to match up to the 4 wires that we've already got. So this is going to get kind of confusing. So I don't really have to pay too much attention, but I will pay a little bit of attention as to which way around I get these. They just have to go into the same. There's actually 5 here. I knew there were 5 wires. That's okay. I was going to do this all like color coded, wasn't I? Well, that's just not going to happen. We'll just have to live with it. I mean, half the things I do, I always just use a yellow wire, so it doesn't really matter too much. So I don't know if this is actually going to reach. I kind of feel like I have to move these. So I feel like I've made a boo-boo by having these things so far away. It's going to be the other ICs that don't need to be that far. Well, well, we'll just move this. This won't take very long. I don't know the best place to put it. That one can go there. So that can go there. Alright, and so the negative goes. This is output enable. There's a little thing. I'm going to point that around the same way for me. So output enable is when it's low. So why are these? I think I've made it. Oh no, these are facing the other way around, aren't they? Okay. Make sure I can. There's a little dot at the back, and it's got me confused. Okay. So that's actually slightly wrong. This might be more effort than I thought. No, that's right. Output enable. So that one's going to low. And I've just opened up a new box of these things. So maybe we can do it a little bit neater and tidier than I have been. So they can't open it now. Ooh. It's so new, it's still got the little piece of sellotape on it. And I literally have no tools on this desk for cutting sellotape. We'll just use this thing. Oh, that feels very uncomfortable with that sound. Alright. We'll just use some blue ones. Those ones are too long. Where's the same size grey ones? There are no same size grey ones. Where did this grey one come from? Oh, I must have cut one of these up. Well, that was smart. Alright, well, we can take that one off. And this is actually the power. This is the ground supply going there. Double check that one, that's ground, right. And then we're going to move this one along. Probably would have made a lot more sense just to piggyback that one over the other side of the one that was already there, and then I wouldn't have had to move them twice. That actually feels like one of the most common sort of optimizations in life that I've had to go through, which is just piggyback things over the top instead of moving them one by one and shuffling them along. If they're all the same, just do the piggyback thing. Is that the right word? Just jumping over. Leapfrogging is the word that I want. Piggybacks. Now look at that. That's even ended up in exactly the right place. So that's quite nice. We'll put that one there. Does that actually line up? It does. Okay, cool. So there we go. And then this has got to go kind of the same way. So in this case here, brown is the furthest away, and in this one, the furthest. Oh, one of them came out. No. The furthest away is the white. Why are there 2 whites on this one? One of them is slightly off-white. These don't even match up. What was I thinking? No, they do match up. No, they don't match up. So actually, purple should go there. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. So purple goes, so the brown should go to the furthest away point if I'm going to just copy what I've done here, and it doesn't really matter. In fact, I don't think I'm supposed to plug in all of these things, but we'll come back to that in a minute. So I think the problem with the up and down thing, so this problem here is that when you have select being low, I think that's supposed to be low, yeah, this is low, select is low, these go to ground, and ground means that you've pushed a button down, but you just basically don't connect those up to the latch. But we'll come back to that after we've put in the next IC, which I've gone and lost, haven't I? Or I squashed it or something. The 40017, so we'll do this one next. And that one can kind of go. I haven't squashed the legs on this one. So yeah, I am prepared. I've got all these little bits and pieces, and we're going to have them all facing the same way. Right, I'm going to have a little space between each, because I always want to not have the space, but then when you have to move them, it's really, really hard, as you may remember from a previous video, when we tried to do that. Okay, well, the good news about, as I mentioned, my little 2D Pong thing, I have actually bothered. Did I mention this in the last video? I think I might have, but I have actually looked around and tried to work out what is wrong with it, and I've discovered two problems, which are easy to fix, but we require a bit of quick soldering, which I haven't got around to doing, and then it should work fine. And so then we can go back to finishing that game soon. Now I have to get out my book to find out how the 4017 is wired up again with this trusty one. This is a really odd book to use because it's way bigger than the other ones that I have for this job, which are also right next to me. No, we'll use this one. Okay, we'll use the CMOS cookbook by good old Dan Lancaster. Because that way you can join in on the fun too by reading it. Except this is now upside down. Well, there's a trick I can do. I can turn this around. Okay. And so I gotta make sure that's actually correct. Alright, so this is going to go to the positive. I mean, I guess this could be actually kind of therapeutic to watch people do this over and over again. It's like, oh, he's doing another one of those wiring up a 4017 tricks. Yes. There's going to be a lot of this. There's a playlist for 4017s. So, so reset should be low because we're not resetting things. So I'm going to use orange for non-power things. Alright, so reset I think should be low because we're not resetting. Clock should be, we're gonna get the clock in a minute, so we'll come back to you. Enable should be high because we're enabling it. I think that's right. I always get these things confused. That's part of the problem with actually what's gone wrong. I've done exactly the mistake on this thing here. I've gone and wired up, I think, the clock, the reset, the wrong way around, and always doing this. It's like, it's just ridiculous. So I'm not going to do that again in the future. I'm just going to stop doing it. And I think I wired it. Did I rearrange the ICs in the last video because it's easier to meet for the legs to be around the, I don't know, because you know that they are like, you know, if you want to have the positive side being closer to, oh well, that's not actually worked. I've got them the wrong way around, right? Because the positive is further away. The positive rail is further away on this side than it is on that side. So maybe, oh well, that's okay. No, I definitely, I sort of turned them around. Yeah. So too late now. Unless I cheat and put this on the other side, but that would be really confusing. So I've got the power, I've got that, clock, what is actually, this is the divide by, no wonder I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay, I have to look at the correct one, so this is the problem with it, so we'll cover that up for a second. And enable, and the output, oh, I don't need that one, I don't need that one, I don't need that one, and I don't need that one, but I do need, so we need more of those little otherwise. Where do they all go? Here we go. Alright, so we'll take some of these, and I'm going to need 4 of these, and we'll use the exact same colours I used just a minute. No, they aren't exactly. Oh, I don't want those ones. I want these ones. Okay, and we'll choose, ironically, the exact same. Oh no, they aren't the same colours. It's always coming up slightly different, but it's still looking rainbowish. Rainbowish-ish. Okay, so this isn't going to work. So number 1, I want 0 and 1. So 0 and 1, they kind of go together quite well. So I did watch a video just recently about why the 4017 is so weirdly wired up. And it kind of like, so we'll take those 2 off. So that's going to be the first set, the first 2 steps, and that's number 2. So blue is number 2, that's good because blue rhymes with 2, and of course 3 is over here. Is that right? Because there should be 2 spaces in between. So I think that's right. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. So there we go. That works out well. And we're going to need the one last IC, and we don't have any room for it. So I'm going to have to move this slightly across here and do it that way, which is my 40001, which is my Nand gate, which we're only going to need one little bit of. So just to go back to why we need this, the legs are all funny on this. Why this is all strange. Actually, I'm surprised at my first real sort of attempt at doing something with logic ICs. It needs a 4001, not a 4011. So, like, I would have thought it would have been a NAND gate. I was always expecting it to be that. But things gone, you know, not quite the way you were, I was wanting, but that's life. Anyway, the point being, I'm being very silly there. I couldn't really care less. So just going back to this. So basically, select is low if either of these two values, might be better to show it here. So select is low when either of these two things are high, which is basically what a NOR gate is low when either of these are high, or when either of these are true, this is false. And then otherwise, it's going to be high, which basically covers a NOR gate. So we can get my select line by basically NORing 1 and 2 together, and that will give the select line. So that's real straight. This is 1 and 2. Well, this is 0 and 1. So maybe I should have always, you know, you always start counting from 0 in the computer world. So I should have started counting from 0. They count from 0 here. So in this case here, that's 0, 1, 2, 3. If you're getting confused. So 0 and 1, we'll start using that. Need to go into my NAND gate. So we're going to jump to back in time a few pages to this one here. This is handy because it doesn't have another thing to confuse me with. And then we quickly have to, and again definitely did that the wrong way around. All the positive rails are on this side. So that one goes there. We will do this properly. Oh no, we can't. There's a lot of inputs we're going to have to ground, aren't we? Okay, well, we'll ground this one. And those two inputs. Like, we're going to use our CMOS strip properly, and you should tie the unused inputs to something. And we're going to use this charmingly blue one for the ground, because this is going to be a bit awkward. It's just going to get in the way of everything. Alright, well, I have a plan. It's a very clever plan. It's not working at all. No, I can do that. There. Okay, I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use the green one. Is that actually, that's not any different. Okay. This is working out to be a lot trickier. Because now I've got these and they look so neat and tidy. I kind of want this wire to be neat and tidy, but I don't want to use the same color. This is what happens, right? This is why I like just doing it a big mess. Once you start doing it neat and tidy, it all goes downhill. So I'm going to use 2 of these, and they're not going to look neat and tidy. They're going to look even weirder than what I could have possibly done any other way. And so where are the 2 other inputs? Well, this isn't going to work, is it? No, this is all rubbish. Alright, well, we'll use the orange ones. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. Like, honestly, I've got 9 minutes left to finish this video, and I just sat here talking about ridiculous things, and we're actually not that far off, except I have to wire up the LEDs, and they're going to go on this one. So we'll just have to make another video. This is going to go forever. But alright, and where's the last one? I don't know why I'm doing this. It's not going to make any real difference. I don't care about the power consumption. So just a reminder, if you're new to this, and why you're not supposed to leave unused inputs tied to anything, because then they'll float, and then they'll basically they'll use up more electricity basically, because they'll be changing backwards and forwards, and these things basically use their power when they change, as opposed to when they're just being used. So if they're not changing much, they essentially don't use pretty much anything at all, which is nice. So we've now got that, and then we can put our one little wire, and we're going to use this one. So this is now my select, right? And so I have to get this from here to there. So we're going to jump via this one here, because I don't think that wire is going to reach. I really wish I knew where my longer wires were. They're probably somewhere around. No, these are all these 10 centimeter ones. It seemed like a good idea at the time just to buy a bulk load of 10 centimeter ones. Alright, so you're going to jump to there. And then we have to get this. That's the wrong kind of wire as well. Oh, I've got too much of this. Alright, what are we up to? 7 minutes. Okay, we can get most of this done. We can at least get one wire output, like one LED wired up, I think, in the remaining time, maybe. Okay, and then we're going to use this blue one. Alright, so what is the select pin on this thing? The select pin is pin number 7, which is the orange wire, which is that one. So that's my pin 7, and I'm going to bring it through to the other side. Oh, this is a bit fiddly, isn't it? You didn't get that one in the right place. Oh. How am I supposed to get that thing to go in? Okay, nope. Nope. We're just going to use red. And down. Right. So that one actually has to go to there. And we might just jump via this part. Alright, so now that is connected up to the select thing. So we've got select working and all wired up. We have to then think for a second. One of these. Alright, hold on. What do I even need? I'm just actually thinking. What do I even need? So these two things are providing the select line. So that's not providing anything really at all. Like I don't really care about output number 4 at all. And I've forgotten one other thing, of course, is that I have to tie output 5 to the reset line. So the reset line is actually I just don't forget. So I want it to reset. So when it gets output 3, sorry. So the blue one, the green one, is actually just going to go. No, it's not going to go anywhere. I want number 4. So I do want number 4. Number 4 is over here. I could actually use a short wire, a neat and tidy wire for this, but we're not going to. So 4 is actually going to go to the right. I've got the funny feeling I could just take that one out. Where are my pliers? They're right there. Okay. Will it reach? It's actually going to do it. Oh my goodness, look at that. It's the perfect fit. So reset and 4 go across like that. So when we get to the 5th output, it's going to reset this and go back to 0. So I don't really know if I need to do much with this one. No, that's actually the one I need to do. So this is going to be the latch input for the first set, and the other one is going to be the latch input. So we can actually get this almost done. So we're going to take, so first off I need the output 1, which is this one, right? I think that's right. I don't really need this wire at all. So this one here is going to latch. So this is the first latch This is latch number 1. So the red wire is latch number 1, and the green wire will be latch number 2. So this is the output from output. This is output 1 or output number 2 if you're counting from 1, and this is the second output, and this is the fourth output, and those are my latch things. So that one and that one. So second and fourth. So one of these has to go, so I just have to find out what the latch pin is. So the latch thing is clock pulse, so it's pin number 11. So looking at it that way, it's these pins here. So one of them can have that one, and one of them can go to here. So we can kind of work out, look, all I really care at the moment is that when you push a button, a different LED lights up from the previous one. So there we go, that's the basic part. We do need the clock, which is over here. So I just got to double check which one goes to where. So VCC is orange. Terrible choice of that. That's this, and I don't know why I put them over here. Put them over here because it's got to go into the 4017, which is here. So the 4017, lastly the clock is pin number 14, which is this one. So that's looking good. So this is going to be my clock thing. We do kind of need to see if that's actually going to work. So we just bring out this thing, and we're going to, these ones unfortunately don't match up with those, so that's a shame. So these are the worst. Okay, we'll take these two wires, and roughly those are going to go across to here because this needs a little bit of juice. Okay, now these are powered up. We need some resistors. This is the one thing I just hadn't prepared enough for. The roof is just sitting around somewhere. And right, we'll just use whatever it is in here. Oh! Just dropped the stuff on the ground, just in there. Alright. We'll just use these. I think these are 100. No, they're not. They're 1,000, I think. Okay, so this is going to be here. 1 minute. Okay, we're just going to, this video, we're going to finish with the clock LED flashing, just so that I can check that it works, that the clock's going, and then we will resume. Where is? Here we go. Here we go. We can do this with just a little bit of time. This is a very bad place to put it, because I've got to fill up the rest of this thing with green LEDs. That's the wrong way around. Alright, and then we need one wire from there to here. Alright, let's turn this. Oh, we've got 40 seconds left. Not a lot of time. And I've probably gone and lost the 9-volt battery, which is sitting under here. So if I turn this on, this should flash, and then we're halfway there. 5 volts. This hasn't got a thing on it. Oh no, it's missing the thing. Where's the ones that alright, I don't. Oh, here we go. Here it is. 17 seconds left. Let's quickly swap this over. Is it going to flash in time? 12 seconds. Alright, turning it on now. It doesn't flash. That's not what I wanted. This light doesn't come on. Why doesn't the light come on? Is this